Hi guys, this is Justin with DURACLUTCH, and today we're going to do the install of our RXL kit on a 2025 Ranger 1000 XP. These components here are what comes in the box. It's going to be a new RXL primary, secondary clutch, belt, and then a little bit of miscellaneous hardware. These tools are what's needed to install it. A couple of impacts with some various sizes that we'll go through in the video. This is a holding tool, clutch puller, and a torque wrench. That's everything needed, so now we're going to go into the install of the kit. These are the instructions that come with the kit. These show you all the steps as far as going through for installation, probably 10-15 minutes. If you've done it a few times, if it's your first time, maybe 20 minutes, half hour, just to make sure you got everything right. We're going to go through these step by step, just kind of read through them and make sure that everything is understood between this and going on to the machine. Step one is going to be to remove the air box plenum hose, and then there's a little cover on the air filter. We're going to take both of those off, and that's going to give us the clearance to get to the clutch housing. From there, we're going to be able to take the clutch cover off, and that's going to be about 10 8mm bolts, and those come off really good with a flex drive extension like we used, and once you have those off, you can remove the whole entire clutch cover. After that, we go to the clutches. At this step, I would have the transmission in park, and that's going to be the easiest to get the secondary clutch off. So we're going to start with the primary. What you're going to have to do is remove the main center bolt, and that's a T60, and that tool does come with the kit. Then from there, once you have the main center bolt out, you're going to reuse it, so just keep it close by. Then you need to remove the cover on the primary clutch. It's 6 bolts, and they're 10mm. You can usually use just a little impact and pull those off. Once you have the cover bolts loose, you'll be able to remove the cover, and then there's a black center shaft that removes out with a couple washers. So you would take those off with the shaft and set those off, and you won't be reusing those, so those can get put to the side. With that shaft out of there, you can use the puller. That's SVI number 99-012. That puller takes off the stock clutch, or if you ever have to take off the RXL primary. So once you're to that step, you would use that puller to remove the primary clutch, set that over to the side. With the primary clutch off, you're going to be able to just remove the belt easily, so you can pull that off. And then you would use a 10mm on your impact to be able to remove the secondary clutch. You are going to reuse all of the stock hardware along with the shims, like these, that come with the kit. These ones are extras in case you need them for alignment, but there probably is going to be some on your machine from stock. So you remove that bolt, and then your secondary clutch will slide right off the shaft. Once you get all that off, then your entire clutch system and belt and all that's off. So we're going to start with putting on the new RXL clutch system. Once you have all the clutches off, the stock clutches, you're going to go to putting on the RXL kit. The first step is going to be to put the new secondary clutch on, and it's going to go back on exactly the way that the old secondary clutch came off. So you're going to slide it onto the shaft over the splines. If you have a hard time lining them up, you can put your machine in high gear at this time, and that'll let you move the clutch so that it locks onto the shaft easier and slides all the way on. From there, you're going to reuse all the stock hardware that you had and all the shims and everything that came with it as well. So that stock secondary hardware can go back on. You're going to use blue Loctite that was supplied with the kit, and you're going to torque that bolt to 27 foot-pounds. From there, you're going to be able to put on the new belt, and you're going to use the belt tool. That tool does not come in the kit, but that install tool should be in the tool kit that comes in the machine. So you would use that L-shaped Allen tool to screw in and open up your secondary clutch, and that'll let you slide the belt on far enough in order to do the install of the primary. So once you have that belt on all the way, then you're going to go ahead and slide the RXL primary onto the shaft through the belt. Once that's on the shaft, you're going to take the new bushing that comes with the kit and slide it onto the original primary clutch bolt. That then slides into the primary clutch to hold it onto the shaft, and you can just tighten that up by hand because you're going to end up torquing that back down afterwards. So once you have the primary bolt all the way in, and that doesn't require any Loctite or anything, you would take your torque wrench and go to 60 foot-pounds, again using that T60 that comes with the kit. Once you have both clutches on and torqued down, you can put your machine back into park and then after the machine's in park, come back and spin your secondary clutch by hand in order to seat the belt. Once the belt tension is set, you can start the machine, and with your machine in park, your secondary clutch should have little to no spin at idle, just like this one. When we fired it up, it spins just a little bit, and that's okay, and it even stops, and that's good too. Once you have that set, you're good to move on to the next step. If your secondary clutch is rotating very quickly, then we would want to move to alignment, and we have a separate video that shows you how to do an in-depth alignment process. Provided your alignment's good, you're ready to go ahead and put everything back together. So you're going to put the plastic cover back on with all those 8mm bolts that you took off. Get all those back down tight. Once you have that cover on, you're good to put the airbox plenum hose and the air filter cover back on, and make sure that those hose clamps get tightened up and all the clamps on the airbox get tight. Once you have that all together, you're good to just install the couple decals that come with the kit, and the installation of the RXL is complete. Once you have the installation complete, you can enjoy things with your RXL like smoother starts, better fuel mileage and responsiveness, and hopefully not have to go back into that clutch box for a long time.